So in today's video, I'm gonna talk about the thing you should consider before being a professional baker. Because we can see on internet, on Instagram, on YouTube and different social media that many people want to make bread at home and many people make some pictures, video, but some of them want to become a professional baker. So there's something you need to know because there's big difference between making one bread at home and making 500 to 1000 bread at work. I'm a French baker and I've been working since 2008 as a baker in different countries and in France. And today I'll be happy to share with you my experience because it's not all about the nice baker job and the good smell where you work in. So what should you consider before being a professional baker before you hate it? First, hard job. Baker is a very hard job. From the beginning of your shift you will have to carry 25 kilo of flour bags, container with some dough, 15-20 kilo of dough, some trays, many things to carry. So it's really physically hard. You're gonna do so many steps from one point to the other of the bakery and on the same place. It's gonna be very hard for your body. That is why generally you can find the old baker. They have many problems, many physical problems. They have some shoulder pain, they have some back pain, they have some asthma. Asthma also because the flour, you breathe the flour all day and it goes straight to your lungs. So you can easily get asthma, allergy, you can get many trouble. Baker is really hard, physical, difficult job. Second, you have to consider also being tired. Why? Because you're gonna work by night. You're gonna work very early morning. You won't get much sleep. And when you get 20 years old, it's totally fine. But when you get 40, 50 years old, it's much harder. Unless you're used to it or you like working at night, it's gonna be difficult. If you have a family, if you have kids, wife, husband, you need to work on the weekend. You need to work on the public holiday. You need to work for Christmas. You need to work on New Year's Eve. And that's the baker job. You work every time. Of course, you have 2 days off, you have holiday, but generally a bakery open all year long. It happens to me just once in only one bakery where we were closed on Sunday and public holiday, but it's extremely rare at the bakery. Third point is, as I said, you're gonna work at night and very early morning. That means at the end of the week you will be very tired. And when you start your shift, you need to be extremely receptive and active. Why? Because when you start your shift, generally it's when you have the most things to do. You have to bake the bread, you have to make the bread or sweets, you have many things to manage in the same time. And if you are your own boss, you will have some employee that you also need to manage. So it's really the beginning, the most difficult. That's 3 a.m. in the morning or 2 a.m. and you go into the work like very active. It can be very difficult. So if you're not a morning person and you need quite a long time before getting really awake, it's gonna be really difficult for you. Fourth is about the knowledge. Because being a baker, you can read many books about bakery, but you will get the most knowledge about experience. I saw on internet many people who know everything. At least they think they know everything because they read in the book. So many people, they read everything about sourdough and they take the pH of their sourdough every day. But what's the point? When you're in a bakery, you think you have time to take the pH of your levain every day? Except if you have a problem and you need to fix it, yes, you will do it. But every day for no reason, that's just a waste of time. And when you work, the waste of time, especially in the bakery, you don't want this. So you will get that knowledge through experience. Because bakery is many knowledge about the visual aspect of the dough, of the bread, of proving, about touching, about the effect of the temperature. Every day is different, humidity is different, temperature is different. You will get the knowledge through experience and not through the books. Of course the books will help you, but there's nothing better than experience. And from what I know, you will always learn as a baker, because even if you have 1 year of bakery or 10 years or 20 years of bakery, you will always learn because there's so many techniques for everything and you can try always some new things. See, that's the good point of being a baker, but that's also very difficult. So that means even if you think you know everything, well, one thing you need to be sure is that you don't know everything and you will always learn. So never be sure about what you think about bakery. 5. If you want to get your own business, you will need to know that it's going to be very difficult because of the competition. It depends where you live, but for example, if you live in France, it's going to be extremely difficult because now the bakery in France, most of them, they are franchised and they kill independent bakery. Most of the people who are baker, they want the franchise because they get help to get their own business. Even they are not independent anymore, they just depend from some franchise. But at the end, they just kill the independence and the creation also, because all the franchise, they do the same product and they want the same product in the same bakery. And in some other country, if there's no franchise, maybe there will be just some good bakery around, and you need to be sure about what you want to do. You need to be sure about your skills and that you can do it. 6, you need to be patient. You need to have a good sense of diplomacy, because if you are your own boss and you need to deal with customers, it can be sometimes difficult, because customers, they come in the bakery and they just want what they want. They don't care about a guy who wake up at 3 a.m. to produce everything. They don't care. They just want to buy and they want the thing pretty. So if someday you have a problem with some products, they might not understand and you will have to deal with them. Or if you're an employee, you will probably need also patience, because you will have maybe colleagues, you will have maybe a boss, and it's never easy with a bakery boss. That's a very special mindset, and which brings us to the 7th point, which is salary. If you want to be an employee, don't expect being rich. Salary as a baker is quite low. And of course, pretty much everywhere you're gonna work, the boss, they're gonna ask you to work as much as possible, as hard as possible, for the minimum salary as possible. So you need to know your value and you need to negotiate really hard, because being a baker, it's how it is. You won't get a nice salary even you work hard, even you work night, even you work on Christmas. Salary is quite shit in bakery. If you want to be your own boss, it's going to be very difficult too, but if you're good at some point and it works, you might get a nice salary. If you are an employee in a bakery, the boss is probably going to expect you not to count the hours you're going to do. Or maybe he's going to forget to pay your extra hours. You never know. It happened to me. That's why you need to be patient and being good with diplomacy to talk properly with the boss and explain that you're not a slave. That's all. So now, would I recommend you to be a baker? Professional baker. I would say, if you want to be your own boss, if you're pretty sure about your skills, you can make some mistakes, but if you have some good product from the beginning, a good place to go, and some money to invest, I would say go for it. Take your chance, it might work. If it works, good for you. Second point, if you want to be a baker because you want to travel, you want to get experience, that's perfect job. You can go pretty much anywhere if you speak English or other language, and you can find a job quite easily, especially if you're good. If you want to be an employee in a company, I would say if you want to do some seasonal work, because it has better salary, you can make more money, but the job is also harder. You're gonna work a lot, but you're gonna make much more money than a normal baker. But if you want to be an employee in a bakery for someone for the rest of your life, I would say definitely don't do it, because being a baker is really not an easy job. So yes, I told you, if you want to be your own boss, go for it. If you want to travel, go for it. If you want to make some money in seasonal work, go for it. But if you want to be an employee, don't do it, except if you want to get some experience in different bakery and then be your own boss. That might be the solution also. So maybe you also wonder why I am a baker. Well, I was a baker because I always liked to make bread at home when I was younger, but my first passion is to travel. I knew already that being a baker was a good way for me to travel, and that was my way to live my life and survive in this world. So I made a baker training in France, and then I work in many different countries, and I keep doing this because that's what I like. Even if it's really hard to find good place, and even if it's really hard job, it brings me some happiness when I can finish a contract and I can travel and I can learn new things. So that's my way of living and I like it. It's not easy because you don't live somewhere, but that's how it is, right? We all choose the way we want to live. So I hope this video helped you, that you might consider being professional baker with my help to take a decision, or just if you want to get information just to know how it is, pretty much. Anyway, whatever the reason you watched this video, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you will watch more of my videos because I make